Don't regret growing old. It's a privilege denied to many. Heart disease is taking our youth from us. Young people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond are dying needlessly. One of the hardest messages I've ever had to deliver is to convince people that something natural like Extendivite should be taken as a preventative measure. I'm sure you heard an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Extendivite is that ounce. Take Extendivite for 1 year and see what your doctor has to say and how much better you feel. Herbs take time to address the problem. It took years of life to have a problem. Give Extendivite 1 year to fix the problem. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or visit us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network because you can handle the truth.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. The history the government hopes you never learn. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And aloha, America. Welcome to our show today. It is Monday, July 1st, 2019, and we've got a lot to talk about today. The phone lines are open, 800-313-9443. And I'm still a little bit under the weather, but we're going to just try and charge our way through the show here today. Just get everything a little bit done. I've kind of thrown my shoulder out and have been unable to get any sleep whatsoever. I could probably use a week off. I don't even remember when was the last time I took a vacation here from RBN. But anyway, we're going to work on through and try and get things done. So again, the phone lines are open, 800-313-9443. All righty, as you know, we had the second Democratic debate on Thursday, and Kamala Harris basically went after Joe Biden, and she had apparently rehearsed this for days before the debate. She practiced going after Joe Biden, and she went after him. She took him on his past record on segregation, and she lectured him on how he was in the second integrated class in Berkeley, California. So she really went after him, and a lot of people think she won that particular debate. Now, it may get a little tricky for her in the immediate future because Cooper Hefner, Hugh Hefner's youngest son and an heir to the Playboy empire, recently announced he's going to hold a fundraiser for Kamala Harris. And according to The Hollywood Reporter, the fundraiser is scheduled for July 21st and will be attended by a list of high-profile Hollywood folks. Now, the young Hefner has become active in politics, has already donated the federally allowed maximum of $5,600 to the Harris campaign. So you have this gentleman whose family fortune is built on the objectification of women, and he's now supporting Kamala Harris. That may actually work against her a little bit. What I want to see now, obviously, is a debate between Kamala Harris and Tulsi Gabbard. Because there's no question, Tulsi won the Wednesday debate. Biden's also in a little bit more trouble, and apparently it has to do with his approach to the LGBTQ community. He appeared at a private fundraiser in Seattle over the weekend and came up with this comment: just 5 years ago, it would have been acceptable in America for a businessman to make fun of a gay waiter. And some of the people who were present were not happy with that. One of the members of the audience yelled back at Biden, not in Seattle. So he's going to have to be a little bit more careful. He's stumbled badly, actually. Pardon me. He's stumbled rather badly so far during the campaign here. Okay, big news is that Donald Trump has met Kim Jong-un in North Korea. He's the first sitting president to visit North Korea. And a lot of people are thinking, this is good. It can accomplish anything. The nuclear talks are back on track. But the 2020 Democrat candidates, they're out there, they're just slamming us, saying, how dare you? How dare you do that? And their attitude is, it's an ill-conceived waste of American bargaining power. Well, I tend to disagree. I think it's significant. This is the first sitting American president to visit North Korea. And if they can get the talks back on track, that's a good thing. So we'll see what's going to happen, if it's actually going to accomplish anything or not. But at least there's progress being made. At least there's, they're trying to get something done. Okay. Over in Iran, their foreign minister Zarif is confirming that Iran has now breached the uranium limit of the 2015 nuclear deal. And Iran's stockpiles of enriched low-grade uranium have surpassed the limit of 300 kilograms. Now, this is largely a symbolic act. The low-grade uranium isn't good for anything other than reactor fuel. This is not bomb stuff. And I'm sure you're going to see a lot of people out there in the corporate media saying, oh, they're building a bomb, they're building a bomb. No, they're not. This is low-grade uranium, and the fact that it's gone over 300 kilograms is largely a symbolic move. All right, we're going to do a shout out now to our Honor affiliates who are just now rejoining our network. And getting back to the international news, apparently Israel has been launching raids against Syria. And apparently a Russian-made missile apparently launched by Syria hit the self-declared Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus overnight. Apparently it got lost, just wandered away, and Foreign Minister Kudret Ozerse said the air defense missile was thought to have been launched during suspected Israeli airstrikes on Syria, and the missile struck a mountainside north of Nicosia, sparking a fire. So they're getting they got to be careful with those things. They really do. So apparently earlier today, Israeli aircraft carried out a series of strikes on Syria, targeting Damascus and the countryside of Homs. And the strikes were aimed at military targets in the districts of Al-Mazah, Al-Dimas, and Jumriya, north and northwest of Damascus, as well as 3 military positions west of Homs city. Now, the Syrian air defense forces intercepted several missiles. However, most of the missiles hit their targets. One of the Israeli missiles hit a civilian area in the district of Shainaya, west of Damascus, killing 4 civilians and injuring 22 others. It does get frustrating reading all this stuff, reading about all this death and destruction. All right, last Friday, Israeli soldiers, including undercover officers, invaded the Islamic Industrial School for Orphans in the old city of occupied Jerusalem and stopped an educational activity held by the General Union of Palestinian Writers. And apparently it was going to be a poetry festival titled Yes to Peace, No to War. And for some reason, the Israelis objected to that, and they shut it down. Now, the activity was organized by several Palestinian poets in occupied Jerusalem and was meant to encourage the students to read and write and help them realize their potentials and talents. And apparently, the police officers and the soldiers stormed the school just minutes before the festival was supposed to start and just shut it all down. I think that was a tacky thing to do. What can I tell you? As you are aware, Donald Trump backed out of attacking Iran last week, and he has been rather savagely attacked for it since by the corporate media. And CNN, which is our leading liberal news outlet that nobody watches anymore, is chastising Trump for being too soft on Iran. And Redacted Tonight host Lee Camp asked, don't they consider peace an option? So Lee Camp apparently asked, why is Trump such a pussyfooting peacenik? Well, you know, all those people over at CNN, you could enlist in the army. You could go on over there and fight if you think that's what's really needed. So tensions are sky high in the Persian Gulf, and President Donald Trump is threatening Tehran with obliteration should American interests in the region be attacked. And nobody could accuse the president's cabinet of being barefooted, bong-smoking pacifists. But that's what CNN was trying to imply. Alrighty. As you know, Thursday is the 4th of July. And Trump wants a spectacular parade in Washington, D.C. And one of the things that he's asking for are military tanks on the mall. And this, of course, is causing headaches for National Park Service Acting Director P. Daniel Smith. And I think it's a bad idea. Not because it sends a bad message, which it does, but when I was living up in Seattle, I got to see tanks deployed on the streets of Seattle, and they left a lot of marks on the pavement. And I think the same thing's going to happen here. Tanks are not designed to drive down civilian streets and not leave a mark behind. But Trump apparently wants tanks out there and other armored military vehicles for his 4th of July address to the nation. And, of course, here in Hawaii, we're not allowed to have fireworks. We're only allowed to have party poppers. So it's kind of hard to get excited about July 4th. It really is here. Alrighty, getting on over to E. Jean Carroll. Apparently, she has now come out with this bizarre statement that she was not actually raped in the 1990s by Donald Trump. And she's saying, every woman gets to choose her word. Every woman gets to choose how she describes it. This is my way of saying it. It is my word. My word is fight. My word is not the victim word. I have not been raped. I fought, and that's the thing. Well, I'm sure a lot of people are going to, what is going on here? But obviously the claim that Trump raped her has now become inoperative. So what is she saying here? That the president tried to rape her but failed? And again, you have to look at this in the context that she has a book out, that she's trying to generate publicity for it, to sell it. Anyway, Patrick Buchanan came out with an article. He was looking at the way that Tulsi Gabbard handled herself during the Wednesday night Democratic debate. And at 38, she was the youngest candidate on stage. And she didn't pull any punches, either with the president or his cabinet, who've just sent us into these endless wars at huge expense. And she made the comment, and it sounds a lot like Trump in 2016, where he was out there saying these wars are a bad idea. But now he's all gung-ho, let's go for a war. And Tulsi, last Wednesday, said, "For too long our leaders have failed us, taking us into one regime change war after the next, leading us into a new Cold War and arms race, costing us trillions of our hard-earned taxpayer dollars and countless lives. This insanity must end." And I agree. It's why I like Tulsi. I don't think the military-industrial complex will let her get anywhere near the White House, but I hope she does very, very well. But Patrick Buchanan is saying that Trump ought to trade Bolton in on Tulsi Gabbard. And I'm in agreement on that one. Okay. Apparently, more than a decade before Iran shot down a U.S. military RQ-4 Global Hawk surveillance drone, its manufacturer, Northrop Grumman, sold the Department of Defense on expanding the fleet of drones by presenting a hypothetical conflict with the Islamic Republic. So they basically said, you got to buy these things, there's going to be a war with Iran. Alrighty. Interesting. Boris Johnson, who's the current Tory leadership favorite, and he's saying that Britain must leave the European Union on the new October 31st Brexit deadline to prove that Vladimir Putin is wrong about liberalism. Now, speaking at the G20 summit in Osaka, Japan, Putin told the press that the liberal idea has started eating itself, and those who propagate those ideas are separate from the people who live under them. I think he's right about that. So he took pot shots at the British government over the way it's replacing Theresa May as prime minister, sniping that the Russian system is different from what you have in Great Britain. We are a democratic country. You know, it's kind of interesting looking at the way Britain, and for that matter, the United States, run themselves. You have to ask, are they really democratic? Or is there something else going on? Is there some other machinery at work? Okay. Now then, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has sort of gotten into a kerfuffle, if you will, with Piers Morgan after the Good Morning Britain host suggested that Ocasio-Cortez, a former bartender, shouldn't criticize the job qualifications of Ivanka Trump. Apparently, Ivanka Trump has now become an issue. And the sparring began after the freshman Democratic lawmaker took aim at Donald Trump's daughter for her conspicuous participation in the recent G20 summit in Osaka. And apparently, in a video that went viral, Ivanka was seen hobnobbing at the summit with the French President Emmanuel Macron, British Prime Minister Theresa May, and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Well, she is the daughter of the president. And she does have political ambitions. I mean, that's pretty much well known. And Ocasio-Cortez basically pulled the NEPIT issue, saying that being the president's daughter actually isn't a career qualification. All right, we're going to take a break for commercials. We've got 2 callers waiting on the line, and we'll be right back.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge 20, 30, 40, 50, if possible, 100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
We will not go down in the night without a fight. You can burn up our mosques and our homes and our schools, but our spirit will never die. We will not go down in Gaza tonight. Women and children alike.
And aloha, welcome back to the show here. We're going to take some phone calls, starting with Fred in Iowa. Aloha, Fred. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yeah, hello, Mike. I hope you get to feeling better.
Yeah, me too.
You got years on you, like me. I'm going to be short and sweet here. Hegelian dialectic, thesis, antithesis, consensus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think that because of the Hegelian dialectic, that Trump is going to be elected in 20. Now, I didn't vote in 2016. I'm never going to vote for president again in my life. But I think Trump is going to be our president in 20. That's
Well,
it for me.
you may
Mike.
be right. I don't think so. I think he's abandoned too much of his base.
We're being played, my friend. Hegelian dialectic. Well, thank you. Have a good day, Mike. Take care of yourself. Get rest. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks an awful lot. And we're going to switch over to Cameron in the United Kingdom. Aloha. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, Michael. Michael, I'm a bit worried, actually, about what you've mentioned regarding Trump's insistence to have tanks in the street on 4th of July. Why I'm worried is because it's a perfect grounds for a false flag. That way, gives the army some kind of a reason to attack Iran. And also, it's televised so people can see it. It's another 9/11, but televised 9/11. I mean, can you imagine that?
It's pretty hard to take out a tank. I think if they were going to do something, it would be a civilian building, like
Well, I
one of
don't
the
think they
national
want to take
monuments.
it out. I don't think they want to take it out. They just want to show that, sort of something has happened and something related to Iranians, probably doing something. And, and the fact is, yes, if they do that in a building, it's not going to be televised. If they do it actually to the army, it gives army some kind of a reason, army is a big family, and it gives them some kind of incentive, to go in.
Okay.
Because at the moment, army has nobody feels like a war anymore, which is a good thing. And can you imagine if an army tank's been attacked in the streets whilst people watching it? It doesn't matter if it damages the tank or not. It's an attack. It's a perfect false flag scenario. Just an idea. I'm worried about it, to be honest with you, Mike. But there you go.
Well, there's going to be some kind of a false flag to get the war with Iran going. I don't know that a single Army tank is going to be sufficient. That's kind of on the same level as the Global Hawk drone. Anyway, thank you for the phone call. We're going to let you go and switch over to Tony in Puerto Rico. Aloha, Tony. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, Mike, I want to talk about Hong Kong. What's going on in Hong Kong? Is there another possible Tiananmen Square for China?
It looks like it. There's a lot of agitation going on over there.
Yeah, but what do you think? China might turn someday Democratic?
Could very well be. Maybe not China as a whole, but definitely Hong Kong.
Okay, and one other thing, I hope Tulsi wins and make you director of NASA. All right, take care.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we're going to switch over to James in North Carolina. Aloha, James. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Good afternoon, Mike. Or morning, I guess, where you are.
Yeah.
I was looking at Kamala Harris's official biography, and I think she may have the same problem that Marco Rubio had running. Neither of her parents were born in the United States, They came to this country to study at the University of California. Her mother immigrated here in 1960, and her from India, and her father is Jamaican and immigrated in 1961.
Yeah, but where was Kamala born?
She was born 1964, and with a 5-year continuous residency requirement. Where was she born? She was born, I believe, in Oakland.
She qualifies.
Well, I don't know that either of her parents were naturalized citizens at the time of her birth.
Okay.
Marco Rubio was born in the United States, but his parents were Cuban.
All right. Well, James, stay on the line here. We got to take a break for commercials. I'm going to put you on hold. We'll be right back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Without the right accessories, any guy can be off the mark. Whether you've invested thousands in your arsenal or you own a single trusted firearm, a visit to AROutfitting.com is in order. It's one of the finest online selections of tactical optics and AR parts and add-ons, like EOTech, quick target acquisition with no peripheral loss. Browse the full range of Nikon scopes and binoculars. AROutfitting.com can illuminate your world with Streamlight gun-mounted lights from keychain to large handhelds up to 1,100 lumens. Find some stability with Battenfield tactical bipods. AirOutfitting.com has CMMG gun parts, barrels, assemblies, handguards, part kits, and more, plus mag-full clips and magazines. I know I've got you excited, so take a breath. Head to AirOutfitting.com. The site's super easy to navigate and features a ton of technical info, including links to manuals. We also welcome vendor and manufacturer inquiries. Remember, if you don't see it, we can get it at AROutfitting.com.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. Join Mike on the air. Call toll-free 800-313-9443. 800-313-9443.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show here. We're talking with James in North Carolina. And as I understand the rules of birthright citizenship, Kamala Harris is a citizen because she was born here in the United States. She's a naturally born U.S. citizen, and therefore she qualifies to run for president.
Well, that may be the case. I remember, though, back during the 2016 campaign, you were talking with people about whether or not Marco Rubio was qualified, and it went back and forth. Yes, he is. No, he's not.
It was Ted Cruz. It was Ted Cruz.
Well, no, it was both. Yeah, it was Ted Cruz, but for other reasons, but also Marco Rubio. And I think you finally had come to the conclusion that he was not qualified because neither of his parents were citizens at the time of his birth. They were legal residents, but not citizens. Even though he was born in Miami.
Yeah.
But
I don't recall coming to that conclusion. I know that we focused on Ted Cruz.
Well, I remember you discussed both Rubio and Cruz, and I know I think you came to the conclusion Ted Cruz was not qualified, but for different reasons.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure you also came to the conclusion that Marco Rubio was not qualified to run.
Well,
I may be mistaken, but it seems like that's what it was.
I'm getting old and feeble-minded. I don't remember that.
Well, I'll defer. I mean, she may well be qualified, but I cannot see how either of her parents could have been citizens when she was born in 1964. I don't see how that would have been possible.
If she's born in this country, she's a citizen. And if she's born in this country, she's a natural born citizen, is what it comes down to. And I think the issue with Ted Cruz...
I always thought those were two different things.
If I recall, with Ted Cruz, it was the fact that he was not actually born in the United States.
Yes, that's true. He was born in Canada.
Yeah. Anyway, James, thanks an awful lot. We're going to let you go here and switch over to Todd in California. Aloha, Todd. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
A little bit of sad news today. You know Doug Hagman, the Hagman Report?
Yes.
His son supposedly passed away from an overdose of heroin, and it was announced this morning. And my heart goes out to the family because I have two boys, and the story doesn't sound right, and the way Mr. Hagman put it out there, it sounds like something's not right to him about the story as well. And it's quite revealing that we're going back to, it seems like, the Dixie Mafia days where these hits, so-called suicides or ODs,
the Arcanicides,
overdoses. Yes. And interesting to listen to Mr. Hagman's report on the death of his son and the end 4 minutes of he's going after somebody, and that's a fact. And I think there's some big players that he knows that may have a hand in this. Something to me didn't seem right either, because I've seen the Hagman report and I've seen Joe Hagman talk, his son, and he never, ever looked like he was on heroin to me. And I've counseled a lot of ex-drug addicts, and no. Angela Merkel with her shaking looks more like a drug addict to me.
Yeah.
Than, so that there's that. And then this also brings me to that point of, we need to have family and friends kind of interconnecting with ourselves at all times so that we know that, when things like this kind of thing come up, that we can, it's like a backdoor attribute of allowing others to we keep close to us, that our friends know where we are, what we're doing. And I'm not talking using Facebook and that crap. I'm just saying, hey, we're going on a vacation. We'll be gone for 2 days, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And here's all the details. But something didn't seem right about the death of Joe Hagman, because we've heard this before. We've heard this before of others, even quote-unquote homeopathic, quote-unquote, these doctors that quote-unquote suicided themselves. I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's like Robin Williams with the belt on his neck, the same way David, what's his name, that died from NXS.
David Carradine.
And yes, And if you look at the three others that passed away, Chris Cornell from the whatchamacallit band, and then the guy from Limp Bizkit, Chester, who is actually, some feel, is Podesta's bastard son. And then you had Tom Petty. All died within a certain framework of time, but all within that framework of time, they were all interconnected with doing a big announcement on their interaction with one another, on revealing who some players are in the young, I think it has to deal with young boys being abducted and programmed under MK Ultra. We know that program's there. That, I mean, look at the terms they use, Monarch.
Yep.
And then look at this new Avenger movie. What was the big thing? Monarch. Look on the chest of them. Butterflies, two pyramids coming together. Okay, the butterfly. And when I went to go see that Avengers movie with my son, I was highly displeased that I almost like tell my children, I said, look, I don't even want to go to the movie theaters anymore. If you want it, let's buy it, and then we'll watch it. And if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. But I can't even bring myself to spend that kind of money because I don't want the toys to follow.
Yeah.
I'd rather, it's getting to the point where, Joe Hagman's death brought out a lot of things for me to really think deeply about from my own boys. What is out there? I mean, we have a lot of illegals running heavy drugs into the U.S. We know that the fentanyl bust that went down at the border, what was that, last month?
Yep.
Just not but 3 weeks ago, they busted, close to, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of fentanyl, okay, right there at the border. And that was going to be brought across to cut into the meth and all the other crap that's brought here. See, they know who's coming across the border. They know it. And they can bust them at any time. And this goes back to the BCCI bank scandal days, in which all that drug money was hidden from Pablo Escobar all around the place. And John Kerry and a lot of other cohorts rode on the same plane with Pablo Escobar and his financials, people, his fiduciaries. Isn't that interesting that John Kerry, now remember John Kerry is also in bed with Bush's because they both were skull and bones, but they both couldn't talk about it, remember, on when they were running against each other. So the whole thing about this heroin, going back to Joe on this heroin thing, I think someone may have done something to him and maybe compromised him. Who knows? But the whole story smacks of something really, really wrong. And that goes with the same degree with the amount of drugs that are coming in this country from the illegals that are crossing the border and bringing that crap in. If they wanted to find it, Mike, they could find it all day. And I want to say this as well to you. I really pray for your health. I pray that some sort of spiritual relief comes in the form of a complete physical hoo-ha for you, whatever that hoo-ha may be, for both you and your wife. There's this powerful, whatever it may be that you need, whether it be divine spiritual vitamins physically for your body, then one blow, bam, there it is. You wake up the next morning, you go, where did all these vitamins in my body come from, or something? I think we all are.
It's been a rough year and a half, especially for Claire.
Yeah, well, I'm just letting you know. We're all, I pray for specific things, and I know you've announced things, and you're asking for finances. I just finished up 3.5 years with my son, as I've told you in the past, with the lawsuit against the school district, and we won.
Good.
Okay, so I got to set some things up, and once I'm done past this summer, I can start doing what I need to do. Just this summer, it was crazy. Last month, a drunk driver destroyed 2 of my vehicles in one shot. We weren't in them, thank God, but I had to get a new vehicle. My van's still not fixed right, so I got to talk to AAA about that.
Okay.
People, we got to stand up. And that's what I mean is you are the squeaky wheel. You're telling people how to do it. And you're doing it in a non-bombastic way. I love that about you, that you're not like this. I mean, Alex Jones has his place. Other people like him have their place. But after a while, it grates and it bears down on you. And you feel like you can't listen without being yelled at. And your style, I'm surprised. You know, I really wish you would open up the chat line, because I think that on YouTube, I think more than enough, you'll get some more people coming in to listen and donate and help you and Claire out. And I really do hope that you guys make a smooth transition. That's my prayer. My prayer is also
well, you know,
that
after we move to Indiana, I may rethink that and open up that chat line again.
Okay, thank you. I'm just wanted you to consider that. I'm not, telling you how and what to do on your show. I'm just saying that, you can monitor it and block the spammers. And if you have someone that's helping you, they can jump right in and do it too, because you can set certain listeners as monitors, and then they can do the blocking for you as well. They've set that up now. And, I just really hope that we all take in a deep breath on Joe Hagman's passing away. I know Doug, as a father, he's grieving. Hope we send some prayers his way. And some things are really starting to happen fast, Mike, aren't they? I mean, this is just the time, and you're seeing all the ideas of what we are as flesh being read out right before us. Do we have some place in this world, or are we just, as Revelation 18 says, some sort of commitment on a piece of paper and a digital blip on somebody's fidelity instrument? And I hope to God that we can come to a new place that, it's not just about the waking up part. It's about that I see it as good and evil cannot coexist. It just doesn't happen that way. Either one or the other is going to win out. We've seen that in World War II. Hitler didn't win out.
No, but a lot of evil got done. A lot of evil got done.
A lot of evil got done. Yeah. But a lot of good got done, too. I've met good that came out of there and talked to people that had some amazing stories. And, and Stalin wasn't a good man. Neither was Mao. And I think that if we play our cards right as a country, and if Trump is really, truly energized about draining the swamp, I would really like to see Hillary Rotten Clinton arrested before the end of summer, and her cohorts, the Podestas, Huma Abedin, and the infiltration of the Muslim Brotherhood into the White House at that period of those 8 years under Obama. I'd like to see some of these things start to take place. That's what we voted for Trump in for.
Yes.
We voted for the wall. We voted for arrest. We voted for revealings and transparency. Hope you get well, Mike. Hope things turn around for you, okay?
I appreciate it, Todd. Thanks a lot. We're going to let you go, and we're going to go over to Dustin in New Jersey. Aloha, Dustin. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yeah, on Doug Hagman, I don't mean, it's saying a heroin overdose. Most likely it probably was. I mean, I don't know. Angela Merkel's probably got Parkinson's. You can't just say she has like a drug problem, I think she's got medical issues. I know she's very religious too, supposedly. I know Ray McGovern says she was a daughter, she was a church, her father was ran a church, or supposedly she's religious. So maybe that's why she's such a globalist, that attitude. Maybe she's a true believer, But I don't like. I don't want to. You just can't say she's got a drug problem. That doesn't look like that looks like more of a Parkinson's or something.
Yeah.
Not to say she isn't a good person, though. She's a globalist, and she has her beliefs, and you'll never change her beliefs. But you know what's amazing, Mike? Like, through all their beliefs and their globalism, the freedom gas must flow from Russia.
Yeah.
You know? Isn't that amazing? Like, the freedom gas is not free. It's 3 times more expensive. You know? Well, nobody running a business would buy things 3 times more expensive. Doesn't matter who it's from and where it came from. It's just not going to happen. And I wanted to say, Mike, on Trump visiting, like with Huawei, actually first, like people saying he caved or he didn't cave, but it's obvious that like it's dragging on too long, and Trump knows, and we know, and the people around him know, Larry Kudlow and all them know that it's dragging this economy down. Not by Wall Street's numbers, but by just like the manufacturing index. Did you see that? I know you'll talk about it after. It's at its lowest. I mean, it's really starting to hurt. And, you know, Broadcom, 60% of their chips are going to Huawei or China per se. And you know, it's not. And you know what, Mike? What's the sad thing about this whole thing? It's too late. Like we've damaged ourselves because they're already looking for alternatives, and they've been like. Just like with using the Android operating system. They're making their own operating system that's going to be faster than the Android operating system. So we've damaged by them doing this, they've damaged us permanently. Permanently. There's no coming back from this. You know, that's how I see it. It's irreparable now because I watched the Duran. Oh, can you hold me over?
Yeah, I'm going to hold you over. Stay on the line.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Do you worry a lot? If you're forgetful, nervous, moody, or overwhelmed, chances are you're not protecting yourself from the ravaging effects of stress and anxiety. No matter the cause, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, your quality of life, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in as little as 1 to 2 weeks and increase your ability to recall facts, names, and numbers in 4 to 12 weeks. Calm and Clever was created by scientist Kurt Hendricks, a principal investigator in 2 NIH-funded studies on Alzheimer's disease. Try Calm and Clever for 2 months. You'll feel the difference. Call 1-800-758-8746 or go to calmandclever.com.
Tired of being lied to by mass media? It's growing more and more apparent today that news is received less and less through standard media outlets. Even with a growing audience every day, RBN is beginning to direct more efforts into social media. Social media and the use of the internet is fast becoming the primary source of people for news, regardless of demographic. RBN has set out to provide some of the best news on the internet through republicbroadcasting.org, and also has begun to use the tools to our advantage by way of social media. Republic Broadcasting is now operating a Facebook page to function as yet another avenue to have our collective voice reach new audiences across not only America, but across the globe as well. The Facebook page features not only news, but also an RBN player to listen to our broadcasts. Get involved by visiting facebook.com/Republic Broadcasting and liking our page and share it with your friends and family, because you can handle the truth.
How healthy are your arteries? Deteriorating circulation has a number of early warning signs. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, fingers and or toes often go cold, arms and or legs often go to sleep, sharp diagonal crease in the earlobe, short walks cause cramping or pains in legs, memory is not as good as it used to be, ankles swell late in the day, chest pain after physical exercise or emotional stress. If you experience even one of these symptoms, Your circulatory system is crying out for attention. Extendivite is a natural solution to help improve your overall health. Extendivite is not your average heart tonic. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or find us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
What this country is coming to, I sure would like to know. If they don't do something by and by, the rich will live and the poor will die. Doggone, I mean the panic is on. Can't get no way, can't draw no pay. Unemployment getting
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show today, and we're talking with Dustin in New Jersey. And Dustin, just pick it up where you left off.
Mike, before I do that, chicken soup, Extendivite, and some silver.
Well, I got the silver, and I got the chicken soup, and I've got the Extendivite.
Okay, you look like you're dragging.
I am very much so. I didn't get any sleep over the weekend.
Well, this weekend you better get some sleep. Well, 4th of July, you going to have a show?
I don't know what the RBN plan is yet.
If you don't, you better get some rest on that day.
I do need some rest. There's no question about it.
A lot of people, man, counting on you, Mike. I mean, you're the only show I listen to. I don't watch Alex Jones. I listen to David Knight, but you're the only one I can vent my frustrations to and listen to for all the people calling in from Britain and all these other countries, Canada and stuff. But Mike, getting back on with the Huawei, on the Duran, they had a great thing about how the U.S. is delinking itself from China, and China is delinking from the U.S. It can happen fast or slow, but eventually, but it is going to happen.
Yeah.
There's no turning back now, per se. Actually, I think there's no turning back from what's going on now. We're witnessing like an event. There's no turning. Like we are witnessing all these tariffs and sanctions. We are delinking from the world in a way.
Yes.
Like right as we see with Turkey and all, and Russia. Russia's got, like Russia says, don't lift. They said they don't want the sanctions lifted. You know why? Because they diversified their portfolio internally. Their agriculture is booming over there. It's booming.
They're becoming self-sufficient.
You know, they lost 50 million or 50 billion. I think it's 50. The EU lost 250 or 270. The EU lost out. France lost. I mean, they all lost out. Poland with the apples. Remember that with the apples? They had to dump all these. They're moving away from the U.S. now. How fast and slow it happens is a different story. I don't know, but like, but Mike, on the thing with North Korea, like Trump going there or not going there, like what's the difference? Because the military-industrial complex needs them like they need a boogeyman. You know what I mean? Like they need that tension in the North Korea isn't it amazing how evil he is, but Trump just stepped over the border? That evil North Korean government that machine guns people down, like machine guns relatives, starves their own citizens to death. But yeah, if you go on YouTube, you watch people going to work over there every day. I mean, it's the same old lies. The same with Saddam. The same with, remember China?
Yep.
The Muslims, they had all the Muslims in concentration camps, a million. No, they have extremists in there. It might be like 10, 20,000 because, they have the extremist element in the Uyghurs over there. But they do the same trick. The North Koreans are killing their own people and this or that. Well, I want anybody to prove that by going over there and seeing it for themselves because I don't care what my government says. I want, it's seeing is believing. All right, Mike, have a good show.
All right, thanks an awful lot. We're going to let you go. We're going to take a break for our station identification and back with hour number 2 and more calls after these few words.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure, resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue, and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed, and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, the number 2, keep it today.
You're listening to Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero, because World War III is a really bad idea. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show here. And let's go back to the phones to James in Kansas. Aloha, James. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
I want to know if you know that there is something in the IRS code that provides an incentive for so many people to seek the presidency. And you have any idea how they tax the expenses of the people that do that? I'll hang up and listen.
I have absolutely no idea that there's anything in the IRS code that incentivizes anybody to be the president.
Well, anyway, I remember when Ron Paul ran, and he didn't even have guts enough to butt in and let somebody and talk when the people were talking over him, and let him talk for a few seconds. Okay, I've said my piece. Bye.
All right, thanks an awful lot. We're going to let you go here. Okay, the phone lines are open. And getting on back to the news here, Donald Trump is obviously very proud of his children, which is what a good father should be. And apparently, when he was introducing his daughter Ivanka and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, he resorted to this well-known fairy tale by introducing them as Beauty and the Beast, while addressing a gathering of Air Force personnel at Osan Air Base in Pyeongtaek, South Korea. Now, I don't know how Mike Pompeo felt about that, because obviously he wasn't the beauty. But, let's not kid ourselves. Ivanka is a looker. Melania is a looker. She's the hottest first lady we've ever had in this country. So, anyway, over in Israel soldiers are attacking occupied East Jerusalem, and apparently they've abducted 3 Palestinians and ransacked dozens of homes, hospitals, and clinics, assaulting physicians, nurses, and patients, part of Israel's effort to create a national garden in the area. And soldiers apparently shot a 21-year-old in the heart from close range. All for the National Garden here. Over in Iran, well, actually, this is right here in Washington, D.C. The exiled Iranian MIK regime change cult rallied in front of the State Department on June 22nd, just a day after Trump rejected pressure to start a war on Iran. Current and former American officials joined the bizarre organization, hailing it as the legitimate resistance to Tehran. Shadowed by a team of Mujahideen al-Khalq minders, Max Blumenthal and Thomas Hedges reported from the scene. Now, MEK is a group of terrorists, And one of the things they're notorious for is the so-called laptop of death, which was this laptop of illustrations of nuclear weapons technology that was used to accuse Iran of pursuing a nuclear weapon. But real nuclear weapon experts looking at it said it was just basically a joke. It was graphics and charts cobbled from the internet. Many of them were flat out wrong. Okay, now as you know, there was this G20 in Osaka, and there was a meeting between Xi Jinping and Donald Trump with the idea that they were going to settle some of this trade deal problem. But apparently the Huawei ban will be reconsidered, but other than that, nothing really got resolved. The trade war is continuing. And part of it, of course, is that Trump is now in full electioneering mode, and every decision he makes is done with a consideration about how the voters will see it. Meanwhile, the corporate media is too busy obsessing over Russiagate to notice that according to an annual Social Security and Medicare Boards of Trustees report, the Social Security Trust Fund will run out of money by 2035. And one of the reasons for that goes all the way back to the Clinton administration on and how they basically looted the Social Security Trust Fund to come up with that magic federal budget surplus. So they're in trouble. They've borrowed that money and they can't pay it back. We're going to do a shout out now to our on-air affiliates who are just now rejoining our network here. Interesting little article. It's coming out of Zero Hedge. The National Low Income Housing Coalition has published its latest Out of Reach report that shows that renting is becoming increasingly unaffordable for countless Americans. It certainly is. We got hit with a major rent increase. It's one of the reasons why we're leaving for the mainland in September. We can't afford to live here anymore. The central statistic is the housing wage, which is an estimate of the hour wage a full-time worker must earn to rent a home without spending more than 30% of his or her income on housing costs. As Statista's Neil McCarthy notes for 2019, the housing wage is $22.96 and $18.65 for a modest 2- and 1-bedroom flat, respectively, based on the fair market value. A worker earning the federal wage would have to put in 127 hours every week, equivalent to more than 2 full-time jobs, to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. It isn't just a regional issue. There isn't a single state, metro area, or country in the U.S. where a full-time worker earning the minimum wage can afford to rent a 2-bedroom property. Well, I can tell you there are definitely places that are better than others, because Claire and I just went through that when we made the decision that we had to leave Hawaii. We know what we're paying here, and so we looked in other states to see what was available, and we were encouraged to look in Indiana by our family who's living there. And basically, we're going to be able to rent the same square footage we rent now at about half the cost. That's really what it comes down to. So the only problem, of course, is getting from here to there. And that, for the most part, means leaving behind almost everything that we own. But again, we're getting a lot of generous support from the other end, a lot of furniture, a lot of housewares. It's going to be a major change for our life. There's no question about that. But, you know, after a while, you get tired of Hawaii. And, I mean, it's a beautiful place on the other islands. But here on Oahu, it's just another urban sprawl. And we've got homeless, and we've got hungry, and we've got druggies, and we've got crime. And because we don't hang out in the tourist places, you know, we don't see it as beautiful as other people do. Anyway, another little article, this one coming out from Investment Watch blog. 50% of millennials are moving back home with their parents after they complete their college education. That dovetails with that article about the rent. It's just unaffordable. So, anyway, over in Chicago, the wealthy households are on the hook for $2 million in debt each under the Progressive Solution to the Pension Crisis. And Chicagoans are buried under so much pension debt, it's impossible to see how their city can avoid a fiscal collapse without major structural reforms. The futility of paying down those debts becomes obvious when you try and figure out just who's going to pay for it all. So the total amount of city, county, and state retirement debt Chicagoans are on the hook for is $150 billion with a B, based on Moody's most recent pension data. And if you split that evenly across the city's 1 million plus households, you arrive at nearly $145,000 per household. That is a lot of money. And you could say, well, if they can absorb that, problem solved. The problem is most Chicago households can't absorb that $145,000. And 1/5 of Chicagoans live in poverty, and nearly half of all Chicago households make less than $50,000 a year. It would be pointless to try and get that $145,000 out of them. They just don't have it. And that is a growing problem we are seeing all across America, where the government is saying, well, we have to raise taxes, and we've got to tariff this, and we've got to excise that, we've got to, you know, put fees on the rest of it. We, the American people, just don't have it. We're drained out. That's why retail is going bust. That's why cars aren't being sold. We're seeing data from the automotive manufacturers. We've got this huge lot at the bottom of the hill that's being used as a lot for new cars. And they're just sitting there. They can't move them. People just don't have money. All right, talking a little bit about the immigration. According to leaked figures, U.S. Border Patrol apprehensions of illegal immigrants dropped sharply in June, weeks after Mexico announced the deployment of 15,000 National Guard troops to the U.S.-Mexico border and froze the bank accounts of 26 human traffickers with probable links with human trafficking and illegal aid to migrant caravans. So, wow, Mexico really did it. Donald Trump couldn't. Mexico could. Good for Mexico. Absolutely good for Mexico. Okay. Alrighty, over in Utrecht last March, there was a shooting on a tram, and the shooter is now in court declaring, and he's a Turkish immigrant, and he's saying Gökmen Tanis is his name, and he boarded the tram before opening fire indiscriminately, killing 4 people, including a 49-year-old father of 2 children and a 74-year-old man who died later from his injuries. And so Gökmen basically got into court and said, I am not a Democrat. I don't recognize you or your court. So, how's that open borders thing working out for you here? All right, Antifa is getting out there and misbehaving, I guess is a good way to put it. And apparently they assaulted journalist Andy Ngo up at a rally in Portland. And the assailants wore black clothing and masks, were engaged in a counter-protest against several right-wing groups, including the Proud Boys. Now, Ngo is a well-known chronicler of Antifa activity and has criticized their illiberal tactics on Fox News. He attended the protest in this capacity as a journalist covering a notable public attack, a notable public event. But apparently, according to Ngo, his attackers stole his camera equipment, and other video footage by the Oregonian's Jim Ryan shows an Antifa protester punching Ngo in the face while others throw milkshakes at him. Antifa is also plotting to use muriatic acid attacks at a Washington, D.C. Free speech rally. And apparently this Antifa person who calls himself Pound on Your Boy is saying, I just want to toss as many balloons of muriatic acid in the faces of as many Proud Boys as I can. Now, muriatic acid, probably if you've got a swimming pool, you'll recognize the name here. At full concentration, it can blind you permanently, cause permanent eye damage. So, Senator Ted Cruz is calling for legal action against Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler over his apparent failure to adequately police the city. In other words, in Ted Cruz's mind, it's not Antifa's fault, it's the mayor's fault. All right, as one of our callers mentioned a little earlier in the show, there are major riots going on in Hong Kong. And it started originally with this extradition law. That's now been struck down. But the riots are continuing with talk about the mayor stepping down. And apparently efforts by the protesters to get into the government buildings. So it's pretty intense, and the riot police are using tear gas in these running battles with the protesters. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, the Department of Justice is expanding its probe into the Boeing 737 MAX airliner to include the 787 Dreamliner, which has had its own set of problems. And citing 2 sources, the Seattle Times on Friday said there have been allegations of shoddy work and corner cutting on Dreamliner production in South Carolina. So the Department of Justice is taking a look at it. And one of the problems that has so far surfaced, along with those lithium batteries, is apparently Boeing was outsourcing certain critical jobs for just $9 an hour, which means they were not getting skilled workers. That's a little scary, if you ask me. Again, there is a book you might want to read. It's by Michael Crichton, and it's called Airframe. And Michael Crichton always did these incredibly well-researched books, and this one is about the aviation, the airline industry. We got to take a break here for commercials, and we'll be back after these few words.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Ann, before I started using this product, every afternoon my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge 20, 30, 40, 50, if possible, 100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
Some are maxed out all their credit cards. Some are working 2 jobs and living in cars. Minimum wage won't pay for a roof, won't pay for a drink. If you gotta have proof, just try it yourself, Mr. CEO. See how far 5.15 an hour will go. Take a part-time job at one of your stores. I bet you can't make it here anymore.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show. Now, there's been a lot of discussion lately about facial recognition, and some places are for it. Others are saying no. it's not reliable enough. And apparently the latest wrinkle that they have on facial recognition is its ability to tell when you are lying and tell the police this person is lying. And again, the issue is, how accurate is it going to be? Now, we know that lie detection is kind of a black art. The polygraph is very unreliable. The voice stress analysis is a little bit better. How accurate is this going to be? Anyway. Okay. Article out of Global Research up in California. And they're basically talking about a new report that has come on out calling for a total ban on fracking. And this report is an analysis of 1,500 scientific studies detailing the threats to health and climate from fracking. And apparently this compendium of scientific, medical, and media findings demonstrating risks and harms of fracking, published by the Physicians for Social Responsibility and Concerned Health Professionals of New York, boy, there's a long one there, found that 90.3% of all original research studies published from 2016 to 2018 on the health impacts of fracking found a positive association with harm or potential harm. And apparently 60% of the original research studies on water quality found potential for or actual evidence of fracking-associated water contamination. 87% of original research studies on air quality found significant air pollutant emissions, and 84% of original research studies on human health risks found signs of harm or indication of potential harm. Hardly surprising. You're talking about taking these petroleum products and putting them into the water, putting them into the air. It's already known that these are toxic compounds. So I think that would be a good idea. Fracking has never really worked out. It's not produced the volume of product that was expected, and it has caused a lot of damage. There are a lot of people whose water faucets in their homes are putting out flammable methane. There's the fracking quakes, especially in Oklahoma, a place that never used to have earthquakes, and now they have them all the time. So, anyway, apparently over in St. Louis, the black community has put out a T-shirt celebrating the murder of a white cop by a black male suspect, reading, "Better one of theirs than one of ours." And I think it's very uncool. And it sort of rides the trend that even people who are committing bad things are being celebrated by their community simply because of their skin color. Speaking of skin color, pardon me, over at UNS.com, they have a article talking about classical music. And we all know classical music. And the problem with classical music in this day and age is that most of it is written by white people. So it's now been declared as implicit white supremacy because it's written by Bach and by Beethoven and by Mozart. And how dare you think of classical music as being somehow kind of cool or neat? Because it isn't. It's white supremacy in action here. And look, I'm sorry. These guys wrote the music. Other white guys wrote the checks to pay for it all. Now there's the music. All right, we got to take a break for commercials. We'll be right back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
Without the right accessories, any guy can be off the mark. Whether you've invested thousands in your arsenal or you own a single trusted firearm, a visit to AROutfitting.com is in order. It's one of the finest online selections of tactical optics and AR parts and add-ons, like EOTech, quick target acquisition with no peripheral loss. Browse the full range of Nikon scopes and binoculars. AROutfitting.com can illuminate your world with Streamlight gun-mounted lights from keychain to large handhelds up to 1,100 lumens. Find some stability with Battenfield tactical bipods. AirOutfitting.com has CMMG gun parts, barrels, assemblies, handguards, part kits, and more. Plus mag-full clips and magazines. I know I've got you excited, so take a breath. Head to AirOutfitting.com. The site's super easy to navigate and features a ton of technical info, including links to manuals. We also welcome vendor and manufacturer inquiries. Remember, if you don't see it, we can get it at AirOutfitting.com.
We will not go down in the night without a fight. You can burn up our mosques and our homes and our schools, but our spirit will never die. We will not go down in Gaza tonight.
Okay, and aloha, and welcome back to our show here. Okay, just give me a second here to catch my breath. Alrighty. Now, for those of you living in South America, you're going to get a treat tomorrow. There will be a total solar eclipse, and it's being called the Great South American Eclipse, and will be the only total eclipse of 2019. And the moon will cast a shadow over parts of Chile and Argentina as it blocks out the suns. Neighboring countries will see a partial eclipse. For people in North America, you're out of luck. And same thing here in Hawaii. But again, Argentina and Chile, they will get the show. Okay. The government has decided they want to outlaw encrypted messaging in iMessage, WhatsApp, Signal, Wicker, and Telegram. They want to make it illegal for you to use any encryption whatsoever. Because, well, they don't like anything to get in the way of their ability to just watch what you're doing, no matter how mundane it is. Which is really what it is. I mean, they want to watch everything. They want to listen to everything. So they're going to ban all of that encryption on those services here. All right, Microsoft has issued a warning for Windows 10 users, and apparently it's in a bit of a rut. It's been hit with multiple problems in recent weeks, and partners have been making things even worse. But now there's a new warning, and this falls squarely on Microsoft's shoulders. Apparently they have disabled, going back months now, the automatic backup of the registry. Now, especially for enterprise customers, this is a very important system to keep your machine running in the event of a problem. And apparently the system was still saying that it was working, that the registry was being backed up, but it wasn't really. That's a major, major problem. Also, from the world of Microsoft, if you have bought ebooks through the Microsoft Store, you're going to get a surprise in the coming days. The good news is you can get a refund for all the books. The bad news, all of the books are going to be deleted this month. And Microsoft announced last April it would stop selling ebooks, and that any books the company already sold would stop working in early July because the digital rights management servers were being shut off. So what that means is books that you bought are going to stop working. Even the free books that you downloaded through Microsoft will stop working. These are the days when I really like the wood pulp stuff. Remember that story that we had last week about how students were saying that they actually preferred paper textbooks to the iPads. I think that's definitely a way to go. Okay, we have a caller on the line, Jeff in Michigan. Aloha, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. How are you doing? I was calling in reference to the insanity in the West Coast, noticeably Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
What would stop the, well, obviously the local police have no intent to go and stop this stuff. What would stop the United States federal government for declaring martial law in that area and going in with, reasonable force to contain this?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, I think the National Guard should have been sent on in. And it's pretty obvious to me, and I think it's obvious to a lot of other people, that Antifa are being allowed to behave in this manner for whatever political gain that they're up to. But they seem to go on and again, what happened in Portland, they're just allowed to run wild.
So when they throw a milkshake at someone that is filled with Portland cement or hydraulic cement, that's called felonious assault. Even if you throw an apple or a pear,
yes,
it's called felonious assault.
I agree.
So, yeah, so what should happen is, well, we've had this discussion before. What I would do would be overwhelming force to put these people down because they are terrorists. And I don't recall hearing of any conservative groups violently attacking the liberals. Am I wrong?
No, generally you don't see it happening.
No. So this has got to stop because they are undermining our entire constitutional republic / democracy, where people have no freedom of speech and that a lawless group are just allowed to run wild. It's got to stop.
I agree.
Otherwise, it's going to ignite a total anarchy within our country.
Well, Ted Cruz makes a valid point. The Portland mayor has lost control of his city.
Well, it's even beyond that. They ought to take that guy and put him in cuffs and drag him into jail. And the feds ought to go in there. And I don't care what it takes. Personally, me myself, I don't care what it takes. Put 1 million men out there and just bring them back under the rule of law.
I agree. It's being allowed to just, run wild for some political reason.
I know. Where are we going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now? It's going to be chaos in the streets like ain't no one ever seen before. This ain't what America's supposed to be. We're all supposed to be decent human beings, respecting the rights of others and obeying the law, and thereby comes the freedom that we enjoy here in America.
Yes.
So with that being said, I'll let you go. There are a lot of other people to talk to, and I don't know, your RBN's live stream is down. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, it's down, and I can't get it. So I just thought that I would share some of my feelings with you because, I'm up here in northern Michigan, and it's very peaceful, and we're polite people. And, when I hear all this garbage, I don't even believe what country I'm in anymore.
Yeah, it does seem like our society is deteriorating in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And so, did I hear that you dislocated a shoulder, or?
Well, I didn't dislocate it, but I definitely threw it out, and as a result, I was unable to get any sleep this weekend.
Yeah, very painful. I've suffered many dislocations, and it's very painful, and you can't get any sleep suffering from that. So I wish you well, and I hope everything goes good for you, and welcome you back to the lower 48 in Indiana.
Yes, looking forward to it. All right, well, we're going to let you go. Thank you very much for the call here, and we're going to go to Art Off the Grid. Aloha, Art. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike. First of all, you sound like you're having a hard time there, bro.
Yeah, it's a rough day.
Hope you get to feeling better soon. Dislocated joints can be a real pain, if you know what I mean. But this whole thing, the left is just, I mean, all twisted up in his panties over Trump going to North Korea. But let's not forget, folks, when Obama went to Cuba and he stepped off that plane, the left and the media made this big hoo-ha over it like it was the greatest thing after 90 years of sanctions and everything else. Obama is the first sitting president in 90 years to step onto Cuban soil and blah, 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 blah. But how dare Trump step onto North Korean soil? This is a definite show of okay for me, not for thee. So, folks, if you ever hear anybody out there criticizing criticizing Trump for going to North Korea, there's your argument right there. Obama did it in Cuba. Too bad Trump had to one-up him.
Okay.
That's it. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to switch over to Ralph in California. Aloha, Ralph. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing? Regarding the journalist, Andy Ngo.
Yes.
The name is actually pronounced No. And that's how it's spelled. So the G is silent.
Okay.
But anyways, I happened to catch wind of it via the YouTube with a recommended, recommended video clip to watch. So I saw that. And then the guy that was talking mentioned that this is another thing with the milkshake when they mix the Quikrete or whatever it is
Yes.
with the concrete thing. It's actually also can burn you because of the curing feature.
Yes.
And that's the problem. So if it lands on you, you might not realize it, but when you try to take it off, you can get some facial burns or wherever it hits your body. So that's another major issue. I just wanted to bring that up. Not only if it hardens and it hurt, but also the burning.
Yes.
If it's still trying to.
It's just nasty stuff. And now they want to use that muriatic acid.
Right, exactly. That's all, Mike.
All right, thanks an awful lot. We're going to let you go. And outside our window, they're having our monthly test of our tsunami sirens and ballistic missile sirens. Okay, article coming on out of Chip Planet Blogspot. And it says, if you thought Google was only censoring political content, think again, because Google is now censoring all content about organics, homeopathy, naturopathy, chiropractic, herbs, nutrition, and supplements. And Sayer G., founder of Green Med Info, has put together a collection of evidence proving Google is maliciously altering search suggestions to try and destroy all natural health and naturopathy references. And, this is obviously a favor to the pharmaceutical industry. Google has declared organics to be a lie and supplements to be scams. So now you can't use Google to find alternative health information. If you go to Google, you'll get, the corporate, the medical industrial complex. That's what Google will serve up to you. All righty. Article out of Activist Post here. Trying to regulate online speech will only make censorship worse. And it's saying many regulatory agencies have a troubled history of using their power to settle scores or advance partisan agendas. And those calling for social media regulation would do well to remember that the IRS targeted conservative organizations and the FBI investigated Fox News journalist James Rosen for just doing his job. And so the warning coming out of this article is that trying to regulate online speech will only make censorship worse. Out in California, they've started removing 5 million inactive voters on its rolls, starting with Los Angeles County, which has an estimated 1.5 million inactive voters who have moved, died, or become ineligible to cast a ballot. This was in response to a court settlement with Judicial Watch. Now, this is all well and good, and it's great that they're cleaning up the rolls. But what about removing the illegal immigrant voters? Why is nobody looking at that? Because that is a major problem. Those illegal immigrant voters vote Democratic, and they're going to shift the demographics of next year's election. They probably already did in 2016. Story coming out of Chimp Planet Blogspot again. And it's talking about how crop losses are spreading all over the globe. And if what some experts are saying is true, a global food crisis seems to be inevitable. And we've been talking about it because of what happened in the Midwest flooding, what happened with the swine flu over in China, what's happened Fukushima, Gulf of Mexico, Deepwater Horizon. There just isn't enough food to feed the human population. All right, we're going to take another break for commercials, and we'll be right back.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
It happens more often than we can imagine. In my case, I was sitting at home, and out of nowhere, I just started feeling uncomfortable. Then it got worse, and I started perspiring. I tried to ignore it, but I waited too long. The chest pain came as we were driving to the hospital emergency. I felt my life clock begin to tick. I barely survived. There was lots of damage done to my heart. What do I do now? I was lucky. I took a leap of faith and tried a 7-herb formula with hawthorn, garlic, cayenne, and more called Extendivite. Herbs have been used for thousands of years to keep us healthy. If you're not using Extendivite as a preventative supplement, maybe it's time to start. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue, and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed, and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, the number 2, keep it today.
What Really Happened with your host, Mike Rivero. Visit us online at whatreallyhappened.com. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show here, coming up on the top of the hour. And I have decided that for hour number 3, we're going to play a best of tape here. And I'm just going to try and get a little bit of rest. So please forgive me for that failing. But it's just a rough day. It's been a very rough day between taking care of Claire and packing and being old. Mostly it's being old. So anyway, getting on back to the news here. Apparently, they had 6 feet of hail fall in Mexico. This is... well, it's July 1st now. It was probably June when the hail fell. 6 feet of hail. That is nasty. Beto O'Rourke is out there saying that migrants have no choice but to come to the United States due to the U.S. excesses causing climate change. In other words, to Beto, it's our fault, we the people, that the world is getting warmer, even though it clearly isn't. And that therefore we should accept all these illegal immigrants and these migrants coming to the United States. I mean, it's just more BS on top of more BS on top of more BS here. All right, 1/3 of Americans have cut spending. Manufacturing is at a 32-month low. The wealth gap grows. Workers can't even afford rents. We were talking about that earlier in the program here. And right now, 80% of the stock market is running on autopilot with the all the automatic trading. Well, they had kind of a good day today. So... all right, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals says President Trump can defund Planned Parenthood, and it seems like now may be the time to stop paying for the murder of unborn babies. And I know the liberals are going to scream out there, it's just a lump of protoplasm. But if you think about all the famous people in history, Stephen Hawking, Albert Einstein, Madame Curie, they all began as lumps of protoplasm. And what would the world have lost had they been killed in the womb? So, all righty. Apparently Marvel is out there promising to put gay and transgender superheroes in their future motion pictures. Amazing. The Zimbabwe dollar has come on back. That was notable because it inflated into like these ridiculous high numbers. I think I still have one here. Yes, $10 billion. That would pay for my move. All right. I'm going to head on out of here. Hour number 3 is going to be a best of tape. And again, I apologize for stepping out of you. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not going to let this get me down. I will be back tomorrow. So stay tuned for hour number 3.